continuing to follow some disturbing news out of New York, where our colleague, Fox News meteorologist Adam Klotz, was brutally attacked on a New York City subway over the weekend. Just some disturbing images and news that's coming out of this story. We want to bring in now Adam himself. Adam, thank you so much for being here with us. First and foremost, how are you doing?
Well, it's good to be here, and thanks for the introduction. Those introductions always make my ego hurt more than this beating kind of hurt, because it was teenagers, yeah, and they got after me. But you can see my eyes are all still kind of cut up. Really, though, the brunt of it, which can't be seen, is up and down my side. It's hard to breathe. My ribs are swollen, my knees swollen. But the good news is nothing is broken. So I am going to heal, and it's really going to be okay. I'm just going to be uncomfortable here for a little while.
I can't imagine how much pain you're going through. I know you're putting on such a brave face through it all. And I want you to walk us through exactly what happened over the weekend, because the big point of this story here is that you intervened to help somebody else who is being, kind of attacked by these kids before you.
Yeah, so it was Saturday night, 12:45. The Giants were playing. And after the game, I was on the subway heading home. If you're familiar with Manhattan, I was on the Upper West Side going down to the West Village. It's a fairly safe stretch of the city, and the car was full. This was not like some sort of desolate, empty subway car, but I was sitting on an end, and there was a group of teens around me. I'd say 7 or 8. Sitting across from me, there was an older gentleman, I would say upper 60s, maybe even lower 70s. One of the teens just standing there, lit a joint, and with the lighter still lit, just put it into the older guy's hair, and it went up like a matchbook. His whole hair was suddenly on fire. And he's smacking it out, and without even thinking, whoa, guys, what are you doing? And then that's all it took, and he's on me, and he's like, what'd you say? I'm like, you can't do that. And he's like, oh, you think you can tell me what to do? And then from there, it was like, uh-oh, these guys just want trouble, and they don't want to be told what to do. And now I'm the focus, and that guy's no longer the focus. From there, he was goading me into trying to hit him, and I wouldn't do it. I caught a left, and then maybe another punch. And another guy down from me, he's like, hey, get off this train. We all get off the train. I'm probably bleeding. And when I say we all, the whole car gets away from these kids, goes to the next train. We go one stop. The doors open. I'm still kind of catching my breath and wondering what happened. They all charge and jump me. So it went from it just escalated really, really fast. And suddenly I was getting beat down by a whole group of kids.
So not many people would have done what you did. What made you initially decide to step in and say something? Obviously, there was zero aggression on your end from what happened. You were just trying to tell them to knock it off.
Well, maybe. I think if you saw someone be lit on fire, you would have spoken up. I know that, it's hard to say, because as I was getting beat up, no one helped me. So, but then it's why would you? If you see that this is what you get, you start getting beat up, you start getting punched as soon as you say anything. I don't know. It didn't seem like a thing where I was making a decision. It was just, you had to say something. How can you not say something?
Well, and to your point, there were other people on that car as well, but you seemed to be the only one who had said something at all, even when you saw that happening.
Yeah, it's tough. And I would love the moral of this story to be to speak up. But obviously the moral is one person can't speak up, because they're not going to win the battle. We need everybody to have each other's backs. Just one person doing it isn't going to work, because look at the punishment I got for trying to say something.
So no one stepped in to help you, obviously, probably because they were scared for that to then happen to somebody else. Were there any police around at least, or at what point did they finally back off of you?
So people were quick to help as far as soon as they backed away. Someone pulled the emergency brake, which I guess I'm told set some sort of alarm off. As soon as the kids kind of took a break, the conductor said, we're calling the cops. And I think that's kind of what broke the kids up, because they were like, oh no, the cops are coming. People were quick to come back over to me and say, hey, we called the ambulance. We called the police. Are you okay? Do you need anything? So people were there to help me. They just weren't going to put themselves in between me and the violence while it was happening.
So do you ride the subway a lot, or have you ever seen this type of behavior like this before?
You ride the subway, you see some wild stuff over time, but no, nothing like this. People get aggressive, and you'll maybe move cars. And there's this narrative of the subways being really dangerous, and I always kind of thought well, sure, it's a giant city, things are bound to happen. But boy, when you experience it, it really changes your whole opinion of the situation. I'm still going to ride the subway, I think, but because you have to in New York City. But it would be nice if it was a safer place for all of us.
Well, and police were able to apprehend at least three of those teenagers. I know two were 15, one 17. They were all then quickly released after being charged with assault because they are being charged as juveniles. I mean, how does that make you feel, or what is your message to those kids who did this to you?
Well, my message to the kids is like, you just got away with this, and don't let this make you think that you can do this. I mean, I know the message to them is like, oh, we can do this and we can walk and we can do whatever we want. Like, that's the message society's giving them. But eventually they're going to be old enough that this is going to destroy their lives. So my message to them is like, you got away with one here. Don't do it again. Don't ruin your life. Don't throw your life away. Certainly don't throw your life away to beat me up just because I had one word to say to you. Like, that's insanity. I don't know what the answer is. I want there to be some sort of like punishment. Oddly enough, just before I talking to you, I was talking to my dad, and he's like, "Why can't we at least like give these kids 100 or 200 hours of community service, like something like that?" Because for whatever reason, the DA and the mayor and the governor, it seems like we don't want to like put people behind bars. But there's got to be something, right? Maybe like you want to attack society, like give back, go hand out food at a soup kitchen. I don't know. I would like something to be done.
And you touched on it there a little bit, but ultimately, what would you like to see be done from here? Now that you've experienced something like this yourself, what could be done moving forward just to help the area feel safer or help the subways feel safer?
Yeah, I think that's the bigger thing, because when I talk about those three teens, that's like more of an individual revenge. Like, how can I get some sort of justice? Which if I'm being totally honest, I'm less interested in. What I would really like to see is the subways become safer. And I do know in the history of the city, there were times that, after 10 p.m., there was a cop on every train. Like, maybe something like that. Like, we need to feel safe. The whole city travels by train. Like, people work 24 hours in this city. How are we supposed to get anywhere and feel safe? And there's no reason we shouldn't. So I think those are the level of changes that need to happen.
Well, and what you did really was a true act of bravery. Not many people would have stepped in to do what you had done. I have to ask, though, Adam, do you have any regrets? Would you have done anything differently now seeing how things transpired?
I think no. I've just started to really think about this. I think the answer is no. I don't think I could have done anything different. The only thing is, everyone's like, "Did you get a punch in?" And it makes me think, should have I gotten a punch in? But I didn't. I never threw a single punch at him. I just took it. I still think that was probably the right decision too. They're just like 15 years old, and whatever. I took a beating. It happens. I was probably overdue. You know what I mean? You live long enough, you should probably get beat up. At least my beat up came from helping somebody. So it's all right.
Well, you have a great positive attitude considering all that has happened. And that man that you helped, the one who had his hair lit on fire, did he end up saying anything? Did he just leave as soon as he saw what was unfolding after you stepped in?
So I just got this information, and I'm telling you for the first time. I talked to a detective just a couple hours ago, and he called. He went home. He's like an older guy. He doesn't even have a cell phone. He went home and called 911 and told him what happened and said, "Hey," because he saw me get surrounded and he was off the train. He saw trouble. His hair was on fire. He left. So the last thing he saw was me surrounded, and he called 911 and like, "Hey, there's a dude on a train who's being surrounded by a bunch of kids." Like, that's not very much information just to call somebody. But he was grateful. They went and talked to him. He showed him that his head's all burnt, and he was glad that I said something and it didn't get worse for him.
Well, you certainly made an impact, and I know you're setting the bar high for a lot of other people who sometimes will stand by those situations and just be there as a bystander. But you actually took action and ultimately helped this man. You can see even from what you just told me there that it has left an impact on him as well. So, Adam, anything else that you would like to tell us, or any other information that we may have missed?
No, I just, I appreciate being able to tell my story, and I do hope that, we make some steps to make sure that this doesn't keep happening.
Well, we do appreciate having you on today and having you here to be able to tell us exactly what happened. And we wish you the best of luck in your recovery. It looks like you're healing well so far.
Oh yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be back at it in no time.